Rev TV brings the world of motorsports into your home with over 100 live race series such as MotoGP, IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship, Extreme E, World Superbike, and the newly launched all-electric E1 series. From 2 wheels to 4, from land to sea, your destination is Rev TV.
Hello again, everyone. I am Gary Gotzo. Welcome to Green Flag and Velocity Online Racing coverage of Round 8 of Season 14 of the VOR Signature Series, the Indycar Championship. As today we come to you from the historic Milwaukee Mile for the 9th running of the Milwaukee Mile 250 presented by Lovern Inc. As always, joining me in the booth for much of this season is Lucas Moody. Lucas, good to have you back. We are done for the road courses for the remainder of the season. We got 2 more races on short 1-mile ovals to round out this campaign. And we had a new first-time winner at Road Atlanta. And that winner now just happens to be our points leader coming into the stretch run of the season. Kostik Solwich up by 11 points over Clindy, who started the season strong but has struggled mightily in the middle portion of the season. I think maybe Clindy now has a good shot at this, maybe returning back to the top with 2 ovals remaining on the schedule, which kind of is in his wheelhouse, so to speak. But we have a new points leader, and it's still a points race, still going with 2 races left.
Yeah, a big storyline for the entire season, Gary, has been that Kyle Clenworth, dominant on ovals, has over 200 league wins on the ovals across all of iRacing. But when it comes to those road courses like the Indy GP circuit, like Road Atlanta, he tends to struggle a little bit more because of last week. We can bring up the point standings right here. Just as you said, Kostek Solowaj has taken the lead over Clendy by 11 points, followed by Julian Altna, Luis Nunez, and Roden Efting to wrap out your top 5.
Yep, and Julian, former champion. Luis Nunez, your defending series champion. F-Tank is in there. Rookie looking for his shot at the championship. But the top 5 certainly are still in the battle and not too far out of this. In 6 is Seb Kinder, down 5 to F-Tank. So a lot of fluidity still here in the points. Still can happen as we have now 3 minutes, 36 seconds left to play in qualifying. We have single car qualifying currently going on. And Lal is currently on the provisional pole. F-Tank is second. Vince is in third. Cuthbert now moves down to 5th as Kinder bumps up to 2nd now. Mason Mitchum hot off a win in the Votive Indy Oval Series last weekend. He is 7th, Strauss 8th, Coker 9th, and Christensen with 44 Nation in 10th. Clindy to the top now with a time of 21.9.
Yeah, now the cars to watch out for, it's going to be that 95 of Solowaj and also Altna, as those 2 cars, 2nd and 3rd in the standings, have not put a lap up yet. Now we are on board here with Liam O'Sullivan, currently not in the top 8 of the standings, but he's been very quick all season. He's a driver that's, really showed a lot of pace, no matter if we go to a road course or an oval, and he does have 2 wins in this league of all time. So we're going to see where he can put that 12 machine. I don't know if that was his flyer or if that was his outlap. Okay, it was a flyer, 22 flat, puts him into 5th. Yep. So not terrible, but I'm sure he wanted more. Now we can go on board with Edson Santos here.
Edson, a lot of experience here. He does have a teammate. We'll be watching him as well, but here's Edson Santos putting in his lap. And 17th provisionally. Again, not a lot of banking here. You see these turns here at Milwaukee. The turns here at Milwaukee is what they modeled turn 3 after at Pocono. So this is traditionally a IndyCar track. It has more IndyCar races here than at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, if you can believe it, because for the longest time, IndyCar, when they used to come here, whether it be USAC in the early days of CART, there used to be 2 races a season here, and then it became 1, and eventually fell from the schedule altogether. Now, thankfully, back on the schedule for the 2026 NTT IndyCar season. And on the pole, we have Solwedge now, your 2 points leaders. Lindy right next to him. Carl Stout in third, Cuthbert fourth, Kinder fifth, Lal down to sixth, O'Sullivan seventh, Seigers in eighth, Strauss in ninth, and Christensen hanging on to that 10th spot.
Yeah, and the big surprise of the day, Gary, is definitely going to be Julian Altena. Currently 16th as he just put a new time in, even though he is only 2/10 off of second place. That is all the way down in 16th position. It shows you how close these drivers are, shows you how good they are, and Solowise puts in an absolute flyer, putting himself solidly in that pole position slot, a whole 2/10 ahead of Kyle Clenworth there. So, you know, we saw the 22 flats coming in from Lal early. Then we saw that get beaten by 21.9s that Clenworth, Cuthbert, and Kinder were able to put in. And then Solowide putting in the 21.7, absolutely massive. And even at the end, Altena gets his car up into 6th place with a 21.9 of his own.
And in case you want to know what a 21.758 is speed-wise on a 1 mile, because that's how iRacing calculates this place. It's slightly longer than a mile, but iRacing calculates it at a mile. It's going to be roughly 165.456 miles per hour. That's still hustling it around here. That's not their ultimate top speed, but that is a lap average speed. All right, getting into today's starting lineup, and should mention that the weather coming into today. We're 81 on the ambient, 105 on the track temp. This place traditionally not necessarily always hard on tires. At 105-degree track temperature will make tires a little bit more difficult, but basically this place is all about track position. And I go back to a race that I did in the Formula Indy series on my other channel, and we had someone that finished on the podium. Just basically, he was able to hold off all the cars behind him by just coming to pit road, fuel only, and just was able to hold off all the cars behind him because he was just giving them the dirty air and he had the track position. So we might see some gambling later today, 250 laps, so multiple pit stops. But we'll get into the starting grid here. And we got Solwich on the pole with a time of 21.7. Right next to him is Clindy with the 21.9. And we have a whole host of drivers here in the 21.9. So basically the first 3 rows are right on top of one another. Stout and Cuthbert in row 2. Kinder and Altena in row 3. Lal and Santos on row 4. And those are the first of your 22 second lap cars. O'Sullivan and Seigers on row 5. Moving on back to the next group, we got Guillermi and Strauss on row 6, Christensen and Saucier on row 7, Hatsuma and Vinci on row 8, Fiolis and F-Tink on row 9. We'll be watching F-Tink as one of the championship contenders going back way back in his 18th starting position there. Then we got Coker and Mitchum, teammates on row 10. We go back to 11th, we got Tessera and Pim Van Gastel, Anich and Dufresne and Miriani in row 13 all by themselves. Getting ready to take our 1 pace lap and go racing here at the historic Milwaukee Mile. This is a fixed setup provided by the league. This is a 1 mile, according to iRacing, paperclip shaped flat oval. Indycar measures the place at roughly 0.15 miles. We're doing 250 laps, 250 iRacing miles, but if you account what Indycar measures the place at, it's going to be like 253.75 miles. This could be anywhere between a 5 and a 3 stopper, depending on what people want to do out there. Mathematically, it is possible to even do a 2 stop, but with a lot of cautions. We're at 100% fuel, 7 sets of tires, 1 in the car, 6 in the pits. A very dangerous pit road, on and off, 45 miles per hour. Green-white checkers? No, we don't have green-white checkers in IndyCar because that's real racing. IndyCar wave-around rule is in effect. And remember, restarts once the track goes green, passing is permitted everywhere, anytime. Getting ready to go green this time by your leaders up at the front are your points leaders, 1 and 2 in the championship, getting ready to take the green flag. And green flag, and look at them all spread out, trying to take advantage of that. Oh, and look at Liam O'Sullivan to the inside. Oh, and we're a big wreck. 3 cars into 1, and we're cautioned already.
Yeah,
Vitor Guillermi.
Yeah, Guillermi's up in the wall two others as
Jaco
well.
Seigers.
Huge impact. That's 3 cars completely done for the day, as this series does not offer the faster pair that a lot of these iRacing series like to do. So here we're going to go. We're going to get another look at it once again. Instant fan out from all the cars. Already 4 wide in the 1.
Oh, wow.
There it happens.
That was almost a little fratricide going on, because if we go back a little bit further, he almost banged wheels with his own teammates as they were getting ready to go into turn 1. And then he goes to the inside, makes contact with, we'll watch this again. He makes contact with Christensen and Tigers and Rouse. I mean, they were innocent victims in that.
Oh, I mean, yeah, they're like 4 or 5 wide there. Guilherme tried to turn down the track, you know, not knowing that he was top of 3 for whatever reason. I mean, he was essentially middle of 5. 2 cars on his outside, 2 cars on his inside. So, I mean, that's just what happens when you try to go 5 wide at an oval is really all I can think of to say. Absolute chaos.
He was really racing his teammate, I thought, rather hard going into the corner. Remember, there's 2 rules, chief racing rules to race your teammate. Rule 1 is don't wreck your teammate. And rule 2 of racing your teammate is don't wreck your teammate. See rule 1. So he right there, I mean, almost wrecked his own teammate going into turn 1, lap 1. And you don't want to have that happen. And then as a result, maybe he didn't know how close his teammate was. His teammate probably got on the comms and said, hey, man, ease up. Of course, being that both those drivers are from South America, there's always the netcode specter hanging over their head as well. Luckily, it didn't kick in, and I would have taken out definitely 2 of the Brazilian drivers. But maybe he saw it, and then he jerked the wheel down. And by the time he jerked the wheel down, closing rates in these cars, Christensen was there, and it was too late at that point. It looks like Christensen has been forgiven. Doesn't have, he's not missing his front wing anymore, so iRacing has given it back. But we had a number of cars come to pit road, including Dan Inch, Anthony Hansema, Pim Van Gastel. They're all coming in, and they're topping off the tank. They know if they can go long and they can catch a possible caution, that it might buy them some valuable track position here later in this race.
Yeah, that makes sense for those 2 cars to come down pit road. You talked about it earlier, Gary, that track position really important here. But if you're already going to be starting from 21st and 22nd, you might as well just come down to pit road, top up on fuel. Don't change tires. I wouldn't waste one of your tire sets just yet. But top up on fuel and see if we can get you just a little bit longer.
Get ready to go green this time by. Coming to lap 5 of 250. Pace car will leave. Watch the pace car jerk off the track here. We're right on into that very narrow, threading the needle, and we are spreading out wide already with taking full advantage of that VOR restart rule. It is Kostik Solwich, down low Seb Kinder, and up high it is Klindy.
Yeah, Solowaj gotten still not able to pull away from the pack as we're still 2 wide. Looks to be for like 10th place. And what I love about Milwaukee is that there's so many different viable lines here. Every time these cars go into the corners, you see them all fan out, take the preferred line, take whatever line they've set their tools to be running for. Here we go. 2 wide battle there for 5th, or for 4th, I believe. That's Kinder
3
on the outside. And yeah, now it's even maybe a 3 wide battle.
Cuthbert and Liam O'Sullivan still 2 wide all the way through the pack. O'Sullivan up 4 spots, and you saw his fast restart there. Kostik Solwich wasting no time up in the front with another purple lap with a 22.5. And starting to pull away a little bit from Klindy. Now, Klindy has a lot more starts at this track than Solwich, so it is possible that Klindy is on his own pace, knowing that Kostik might wear those tires out by pushing hard on every single lap. Carl Stout is 3rd. Liam O'Sullivan is 4th. Seb Kinder is 5th. Stout goes a 22.4 for his purple lap and top speed of the race.
Klindy really brought that gap in that last lap, though. Gained about 0.3 of a second, which around a 22-second lap is blistering amount of time. And the other thing we have to take into consideration here is dirty air is such a big factor at short tracks like Milwaukee. And he has another, not the quickest lap there, or sorry, very quick lap as from Clenworth. It is a 22.3, as you said, Gary. But yeah, dirty air is a huge factor, especially if you have clean air, like Solo Wide does, you're able to push the tires less and get these same lap times down. So Clenworth, just by being in second, has to push his tires a little bit more just to put the same lap times out.
And a little bit further on back, watching the battle is now we have Cuthbert and Kinder side by side, and right behind him is two-time winner and former series champion Julian Altena. He is in 7th spot. Right behind him is his teammate, the Skittles team of Altena Autosports with all the different colors they have. Amon Lal in 8th. Amon Lal with a win earlier this season.
And Altena, Kinder, and Cuthbert having a really good scrap here. As, you know, Altena wants to look for the move on Sebastian Kinder, but he knows. And here he goes for it, though, now down the inside of one. He is going to pull it off.
Yeah.
Gets the slide job done.
Does
and
get the
Kinder
slide.
now trapped in.
Cuthbert coming now. And he's moving Kinder out wide. Ball down low. Each one different line going through the corners. Pull away from that battle behind him. Cuthbert again underneath Kinder. And now we're going to three wide off the corner. Kind of repeat of a couple laps ago. Kinder's giving him a lot of room, but Cuthbert is definitely taking advantage of it. Oh, slides right in front of him on the corner exit.
Now Law's just sitting here waiting in the wings, seeing if Kinder gets a little bit too aggressive on Cuthbert, seeing if he can find his opportunity to push. And now he's actually side by side with Cuthbert. As Law gets a great run there. We're going to cut back to the battle for the lead, though, as Clenworth on the exit of 1's got a great run and might be able to make a move into 3 here.
Tires get worn out. The low line is not the preferred line, and we are 14 laps into this stint, so we're right at the point where the tires' usefulness down low is going to start wearing out. Lindy staying up high, getting that clean air, trying to get a big run down into the corners, down the straightaway. Going to use a little bit of the draft coming off the corner. Now to the inside, back of the 3. Now he's really hoping that he can just send it in there. The car will stick and see if he can slide back up the racetrack in front of Kostic, but they're going to be drag racing off the corner, down the front stretch, and back into 1. Still side by side. Then he can't stay down there forever. Oh, there's contact between our 2 points leaders, and into the wall is Kostic Solwich. That was contact based upon net code. We are still green flag, and now we're caution.
And that Solo Wide just races over. Look at that right front wheel, Gary. He's not going to be able to recover. As I want to get a better look at that. I really am curious if it was full net code or if Clenworth got up the track a little bit. Here we go. Take another look at it. And oh, I don't know, though. I mean, it might be, but from that angle, at least, it looked like those cars made contact.
I'm looking from a blimp angle, and there is at least a wheel width.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That's a good one.
And you got to kind of hope, because Clindy kind of made contact with the right front wing plane. It looked like it snapped back in, but is there any damage now unseen on his car? But Solwich contacted the inside wall, and that is day done for our points leader.
Yeah, and that's just so unfortunate for Solo Wide, especially because Clenworth didn't look like he got too much damage from that incident. And also because it's netcode, you can't put it on Clenworth either. So essentially, unfortunately for Solo Wide, Clenworth has effectively taken out his championship contender or his championship rival and gotten away with it completely scotch-free. I say taken out very loosely. Obviously, I'm not pinning the blame of that wreck onto Clenworth there. But now he's going to be leading this race.
Yeah, he's the leader, but you got to look at also at what point are you? I mean, what is the goal that Kostic wants for this particular race? Does he want to lead every single lap? And that's not going to prove anything. It just prove that he can lead every single lap. I don't see the problem with just letting off the pedal a little bit, letting Clindy go by and avoiding the whole netcode thing altogether, and then chase Clindy back down. I think just a little too hard racing early on for the leader when someone faster was starting to challenge him. The best course of action there might have just do what Mark Martin kind of used to. That's kind of, I don't have a lot of ties to NASCAR side of things, but I do remember when I used to watch NASCAR when Mark Martin was in the lineup, there were many times where the guy would just pull over and let the guys go on by saying, I'm just going to catch you later in the run, I'll catch you later in the race. But right now, racing for this position doesn't win me anything.
Yeah, that's a good point, but at the end of the day, these guys are racing drivers. They think, they breathe, and they live the word win. They'll do whatever it takes to get it at the end of the day. And we talked about track position. The best way to win is by keeping yourself in that first position the entire race. And you also have to think about the points. A win here is 50, and second here is 40. There's a huge 10-point swing just between those top two spots. And also the bonus points, those 2 bonus points you get for leading the most laps. I definitely understand why the 95 fought very hard for that position.
Getting ready to go green here at lap 21. A couple of early cautions, and one included our points leader. Up front it is Clindy, O'Sullivan, Stout, Altena, and Cuthbert. O'Sullivan up 7 spots to start this. And look at everybody fan out once again, taking advantage of that VOR rule. Here comes Carl Stout to the inside of Liam O'Sullivan in the 1, and he doesn't quite get alongside, and now he's in danger of losing that position to Liam O'Sullivan's teammate, Julian Altena.
Yeah, those Altena Autosports cars making really good momentum here through this first part of the race, as Glenworth already found a 3/10 gap on O'Sullivan behind. Altena looking to see if he can maybe start something, but he's actually getting challenged from behind by Stout and Cuthbert. Here we go, back in the pack now. This is, I believe, Brian Fiolis on Pim Van Gastel. And it looks like he dropped a decent amount of positions. I think we have a car spinning in the background. We do.
Seb Kinder and Amon Law. This is going into turn 3. Oh, Kinder just right into the back of him. I don't know if Kinder was not expecting Law to slow down that much. Oof.
Well, it's funny, our producer here, Howie Burrows, actually one of the admin, or stewards, I should say, for this league. And I think, Howie, that'll be a pretty easy decision for her, as it looks like Kinder just runs straight into the back of the 13 car there, yeah.
Ride with Law and see what happened. How did he have to get loose and had to catch it? No, he was just taking it easy, and Seb just came right on in. I don't think he was expecting him to slow up that much.
I will say Law definitely looking like he's holding some pace back. You saw with the gap ahead of him. No, definitely not pushing out the tires. Maybe even a little bit of map 3, map 5, looking for some fuel saving. Definitely Kinder just didn't expect Law to be that slow through the corner, but you just have to be watching out for that at all times. One of the hardest things to do in ovals as an IndyCar or NASCAR driver is paying attention to the track, the walls, to your racing, but then also keeping in mind the gap to the car ahead of you. Doing both those same things at the same time, simultaneously balancing those in your brain, is very difficult. So I understand that it was definitely accidental contact from Kinder there on to the 13 of Amon Law, but definitely a little bit sloppy from a guy who has won multiple races and a driver who we know is quick.
Well, we're in our third caution already at lap 25 of 250. Clindy is your leader. He has been your leader since the contact between him and Solwich for caution number 2. O'Sullivan has stormed up to the front. He is second, up 7 spots. Julian up 3 spots to third. Carl Stout up into 4th spot. He started up front, just down 1 at the moment, but has been up front all day. His teammate, Max Cuthbert, is in 5th, also down 1 spot, but have been in the top 5 all day. Edson Santos up 2 to 6. Christensen up 6 to 7th. F-Tink up 10 to 8th. Tessera up 12 to 9th. And Coker up 9 to 10th. No one really taking, not a lot of takers on pit stops this early for this caution. Most everyone is staying out, getting ready to go green this time by Clindy, O'Sullivan, Altena, Stout, Cuthbert. Your top 5 When we go green, pace car making the dive off, and watch everyone fan out for this VOR restart rule. I love it.
We already have a battle for the lead. O'Sullivan to the inside of Clenworth. Clenworth has that preferred outside line for these battles, but it's going to be tight on exit, and I still think O'Sullivan might have that quarter panel of Clenworth. He's going to challenge him again into 3.
And Clinty again. Oh, Clinty goes, wow, I don't know what Clinty was doing there, but he goes to the inside, or maybe a little bit of side drop. I don't know if he didn't expect Liam to be there, but there's a little contact going down the front straight, and Liam O'Sullivan now is your leader. Clinty at this point needs to be thinking big picture, but I think he's thinking win right now. Big picture is if he can get a good solid finish here, he's going to jump in the points. And here comes Julian now to the inside going into 1 and 2.
Yeah, Clenworth, I don't know if he's burnt out his right front, in that battle that he had earlier with Solowaj, but he's definitely dropped off a bit on pace here. I think that little tap that he gave to O'Sullivan, I think that was him saying, hey, I'm in the championship fight right now. You're not even in the top 10. Let me race my thing. Please stop racing me. O'Sullivan, though, did not back out even after the tap. Got the move done, takes the lead of this race, and now that puts Clendy right in the grasp, I should say, of Solowaj's teammate Altena here, who is also in that championship battle, currently running 3rd, which after what happened to Solowaj today, might even be a 2nd place in the championship.
Liam O'Sullivan, purple lap that time by at 22.2. So watching this battle. A little bit further back there is Stout now reaching. He has now reached into this battle, and he is going to fight. Here goes Julian to the inside, taking a peek going into 1. Look at the different lines they get to use. You got to watch yourself on the high side because you'll run out of room here really quick on exit.
Yeah, especially if there's a car to your outside, it gets even more difficult to control, and you have to back up the corner so much as Altena gets that move done, and now Stout looking for the inside move onto Clenworth, and that 43 looks to clear the 37 as well, as they're still side by side, and no, Stout will choose to tuck in. Gonna not fight this one just yet, but might be able to get a run out of 3-4 here and see if he can challenge the 37 once again here. Into 1, down the start finish they go, and Liam O'Sullivan 0.8 of a second ahead of 2nd place right now. He has done a very good job of just taking that lead away from Clenworth and pulling away, getting that gap behind. Now we're gonna ride on board with Carroll Stout here, see how he's able to manage the throttle in the brake, and see if he can get past Clenworth for that final podium position.
Listen as we ride with him there. He goes down the 4th gear. And this is not one of those races where you just keep it in the same gear and roll around. They're changing gears up the 5th gear now in the backstretch. Now 6th gear as he gets into that draft, goes back down the 4th gear to help the car rotate through 3 and 4. He'll do the opposite end of the racetrack. He'll do the same thing. And again, you'll see how flat it is. You don't have any banking to help you really help the car turn here. A bit of a twitch there. He caught it. And then you also just got to hope for that clean air to hit those big front wing planes to help your car get the downforce to rotate and turn.
And a big surprise I saw there riding on board with him is the brake pedal being used is not very common here around Milwaukee. So I was very surprised to see that he was actually, on the brake pedal every single corner.
Yeah.
Because usually the strategy is just you lift early, you take the car in, and you get back in the power.
Yeah, a little bit of trail braking, and a lot of drivers don't use the brake. I mean, you're seeing the road course element of Carl Stout and his expertise there going into ovals. A lot of the oval drivers here would just kind of roll out of it and allow the downforce to kind of slow your car down. There's that much downforce supplied with these cars. It's just like hitting the brake when you get off the accelerator, that they will start to slow down really quickly automatically. But a lot of drivers like to prefer to keep that 2-foot driving style that they learn while on road courses. Side by side, and that was Shane Coker and Muriani. Muriani up 14 spots, started shotgun in the field. 2 green cars, and that's not a lot of good luck right there, folks. The green
Yeah, I
car
mean, they're
myth
not gonna
is
get
real.
they're not gonna get pitched on St. Patrick's Day, but they are gonna pinch each other into the wall as so close on corner exits. Definitely a little bit of net code there from iRacing, but still, these two are battling each other super close.
All I got to say right now is, aside from watching IndyCar racing, Hoosiers? IU Hoosiers going to go ahead touchdown against Penn State to stay undefeated at the time being. Let's go Red.
As Penn State, though, having a bit of a shocker, just got destroyed by OSU. That's actually kind of surprising to hear, as I know Penn State is, not having the best of years this year.
It's still a good program. You should never look past you never look past your next opponent in the Big Ten ever, even if it's like Northwestern or Rutgers or somebody like that, but certainly never look past Penn State. Liam O'Sullivan, though, you can't look much past him because he's well up the racetrack, 2 seconds in front of his teammate.
Yeah, the Big Ten is such a funny name nowadays because there's like 18 teams in the conference.
Yes.
It's like, what are we doing? As
I want him to grab Notre Dame, and in fact, big slow up for Julian mid-corner and a big run in the middle of the corner off Clindy now side by side and down low going into 3 and 4.
Not able to get the stick just yet quite there, or not just quite yet there, as what I should probably say, mix up my words a little bit. But Cledworth still looking for the battle. He knows that he has to get past Altena, make quick work of him if he wants to challenge O'Sullivan for the win. But with Altena 2.5 seconds behind, O'Sullivan already, even if Cledworth does get this pass done in the next 2 to 3 laps, he's got a lot of ground to make up and a lot of work to do if he wants that win here.
Now, the 5-stop window is now open. The 5-stop window opens at lap 41-42. The next window in about 6 laps from now will be the 4-stop window. Mind you, we've had 3 caution periods, so those stints are going to go a little bit deeper. We might actually be looking at a solid 3-stopper now. Clindy down low using that repave portion of the oval to help his car down there, but not able to get the run off the racetrack. Julian with the momentum up high, starting to pull away. Julian, 2 wins here formally at Milwaukee. This is the 9th running, so we have been here 8 times. Julian won the inaugural running here in season 2. Yours truly finished 7th in that one. And then Julian also won in season 10 when we revisited here. But we've been here in seasons 2, 3, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, and 13, and now 14. So Julian likes to schedule this place, and you see why. He has 2 wins. So admin's pleasure.
I mean, if I was an admin of a league, I'm not, unfortunately, just yet. But if I was, I'd put all my favorite racetracks on there as well. I'd put Brazil, I'd put Spain, I'd put, as our producers chiming in her ear at how much she hates adminning leagues. As a lot of work, It is
it's a thankless job. I will say that. Being a steward, that's a thankless job too. But the Dakota DeMaid also has 2 wins here in VOR racing history, along with Julian. So Julian, if he gets another win, will become the all-time Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series race winner here at the mile. Speaking of the career wins leaders here, going back into IndyCar history, I'm going to say a name, and most people here on this broadcast, unless you're a longtime IndyCar fan, probably have never heard of the guy. But the career wins leaders here, the leader here at Milwaukee Mile, IndyCar has been coming here that long. Roger Ward with 7 wins. If you don't remember Roger Ward, he raced mainly in the 50s and 60s, and he is a former Indy 500 winner in the Roadster era. He is your all-time winner here. He has 7 wins, and he is one of a handful of drivers, which include Michael Andretti and also Scott Dixon, to win at one track 7 times. And that record was tied last year, actually, when Scott Dixon won at Mid-Ohio. He got a 7th win there. Also, Michael Andretti has 7 wins at Toronto. So those are he's one of 3 drivers to have 7 wins at one racetrack. And that's a modern day, also going back in the history. IndyCar record. 9 drivers won more than one time for one sanctioning body. 10 managed to back up their win at Indianapolis. For the longest time, Milwaukee was the first race on the schedule after Indianapolis. So 10 drivers managed to back up their win at Indianapolis with a win here, one of which was Juan Pablo Montoya, who actually in 2000 won in an IRL car in 1 week and then came here the next week in kart in an entirely different car and won Toyota's very first IndyCar race here. But he's the last driver to do it. And we could talk more about that as we get into this race, kind of into the dog day laps, because there's 250 laps, 250 miles. And yes, we will be here for a while. But up front, Liam O'Sullivan now 2.5 seconds. 2.5 seconds over his teammate, Julian Altina. Lindy is in third. Stout is in fourth. Cuthbert is in fifth. And Cuthbert is being attacked by Edson Santos.
As we have battles all up and down the track here. Lap 54, these drivers are starting to get a little bit spicy. As you said, it's Edson Santos in that 20, looking for the attack onto the rookie of Max Cuthbert in that 35. That is going to be for the 5th position battle, which, honestly, 55 laps in, only being 6 seconds behind the leader in 5th and 6th place, really not that bad at all, especially when O'Sullivan has that 2.7 gap just to 2nd place alone. I would not be mad with how this is running right now, but here we go, the move from Santos. It's a bit aggressive, not able to find the corner panel of Cuthbert into turn 3 there, and now that he kind of sent it into the corner, he's definitely going to fall back a little bit down the start and the start-finish straight there. And I don't think he's going to have a run here either, as he's just going to have to sit behind here, manage his tires, and not make a mistake in the dirty air for the time being.
And Edson is a good, and I don't know Max's record in this car, how many races that he's done in the IR18. I know his teammate Carl Stout is actually in the Road to Indy program for real in IndyCar, or the ladder, in the IndyCar ladder for real racing. I don't know if Max maybe is also there with them, but I do know Edson Santos has many starts here on the sim in the IR18, and he's a good race manager. And with Edson, with all those starts, it's possible that he's just kind of taking it easy. And right now, his tires are a little bit better shape than Max right now. But the problem that Edson has is now we are 57 laps into a stint. And while his tires might be in better shape, he is still getting that dirty air and can't get around Max. And now that battle has stabilized. Hey, if you just joined us, if you enjoy Green Flag TV's coverage of the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series and respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future iRacing broadcasts here on the channel, because we have a ton of them. But if you're just joining us, this is Green Flag's TV coverage of the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series, coming to you from Milwaukee for the 9th running of the Milwaukee Mile 250, presented by Loverns Inc. We've completed 60 of 250 laps. And on that note, I also would like to thank the guys at Loverns Inc. Today's race has been brought to you by Loverns Incorporated. Loverns provides professional services in renovation, remodeling, painting, and mold removal for government, commercial, and residential projects. For a quote on your project or to learn more, like them on Facebook or visit their website at lovernsinc.com today. Hoosiers win 27-24 at Penn State in Happy Valley, and it is a happier day in Happy Valley if you are wearing the crimson and whites.
Yeah, I could definitely imagine. I actually am currently in Indiana, as I do go to Ball State University. Not quite an IU guy, but it is probably just an hour and a half drive away from me right now. And I will say, Gary, literally just last weekend, I was in Ohio State for the Ohio State-Penn State game, but I didn't actually go and get to see it because tickets were like $400, $500. And as a broke college student, not able to afford that one, but the energy at least was absolutely electric all weekend for Hollow Weekend up there. And my friend toured me past the stadium, the shoe, as I believe they call it.
The horseshoe, yes.
Absolutely insane. The energy, the loudness, just the feeling you get just being just outside of the Ohio State Stadium was absolutely mental. And Ohio State, of course, did beat Penn State on that occasion too. So look at that. Columbus and Indianapolis going 2-0 over Pennsylvania in the past 2 weeks here.
Liam O'Sullivan gets around Miriani and Hatsama put himself a little bit of a buffer between himself and his teammate Julian Altena. First round of pit stops, we are not that far away at. We are now into the 3-stop window, which opened at lap 62-63. If they can get to the 2-stop window, which I don't think they can, that's at 83-84, and then they want a lot of caution here for the remainder of this race. But right now we got 25 started, and only 18 are still running. So with a little bit more attrition occurring here in the early stages, a lot less closer racing out there. So the only time that we might see some car-to-car contact, and we've seen this before in other Velocity Online racing series, specifically, I believe, in their Iconic series, which used the DW12. There was a race that I could be mistaken, it also with an IR18 race as well, where a car was coming off of pit road and got loose down low on pit road and spun out into the racetrack, and actually I think took out Julian as a result. So there are incidents coming onto and off of pit road here that can occur even if we don't have a lot of wheel-to-wheel racing, as Clindy goes wheel-to-wheel off the corner with, that is Hatsuma. But we got people coming to pit road right now. I think Mason Mitchum came to pit road, winner in the VOR series over the weekend at Indianapolis. He's down on the way. He got his front wing taken a look at and repaired. I just saw that snap into place, but we expect the leaders anytime now. And Julian starting to eat into the lead of his teammate just a little bit now. Got it under a half a second.
Colvin.
Here he comes. O'Sullivan to pit road. Yeah, he's coming to pit road right now. And look at that pit road in. Very narrow there. It's like threading a needle. And now he's on pit road with a 45-mile-per-hour pit road speed limit on the limiter. He needs to get to his stall. Hits the marks, goes up on the jacks. Little wampus in the box, but that's okay. He's going to get a new set of tires, a full tank of gas. A car on pit road expires their engine, and he is down and away, and his pit stop is done.
A bit of a funny moment as Solowise's car is still in the session, as I think it just blew up middle of that pit stop. Gotta love iRacing for its cinema moments.
Yep, he's not going to wait to get beat by an undercut here. He's coming to pit road right away. Clindy's staying out, and I'm wondering how long Clindy is going to stay out. Santos now up to second. Shane Coker up to third. Number of cars on pit road. There's F-Tink coming to pit road. Also on pit road is Stout. Down and away is Julian. And here comes Julian off the entry road, racing his teammate, and he actually made up a little ground on him. Kyle is on pit road. He is here for his scheduled stop. Edson Santos going out long.
Now here's Shane Coker making his scheduled pit stop as well. This makes sense. This is about that 6-7, 74 lap area where you expect these drivers to come down for 3-stop, as it was either Coker or Murani up in the wall almost. As no, Coker's still in the pit lane, so that must have been Murani almost running himself into the wall, ruining his race in the background. As Santos really bringing out the long haul in this first stint here.
Sullivan starting to pull back away with a fast lap of a 22.201. So using those fresh tires to his advantage, but out there not to his advantage is Edson Santos, who's staying out long with very used tires, 75 lap old tires. He might be trying to make it to 83, 84, which would get him into 2-stop territory, but he needs to hope for some caution in the second half of this race.
Yeah, I think that's what I saw, that the car that was exiting pit road, or he got sent up the inside, and it almost looked like it pushed him wide into the wall. I might have saw that a little bit, but yeah, definitely a tiny bit of a scary moment for Murani, as he really had to jerk the wheel left to avoid getting out of the wall that time. And contact made, maybe.
I think that was a front wing, and I'm not sure that that is Carl Stout. And yeah, he is forgiven. iRacing gods have forgiven him and given his wing back. But he was racing Hatsuma for position very, very closely, and Hatsuma was not going to pull over.
And now let's see, we're on board with Stout in the 43 here. This is a, oh, that's a replay. And yeah, you can definitely see the debris flying off his car, but with netcode, with iRacing, a lot of weird things happen. A lot of magic behind the scenes, a lot of wizardry, we might call it as well, Gary. And Stout able to fix that thing back up.
I wish I could say that I coined the term forgiven, but that was actually another co-commentator of mine, Luis Gonzalez Nunez. At one race, he goes, "Oh, he lost the wing and he was forgiven," and I'm like, that makes perfect sense. When the iRacing gods decide to give you the wing back, they're forgiving you for making contact. So it's just kind of stuck, and I like the aspect of it. Bryce Saucier, though, out now. He pitted at lap 19, and he is on a slightly different fuel schedule. He is your leader. He's 61 laps into his stint. But again, lap 19, he pitted to top off, and he is still out there as our leader. Brian Fiolis in the pink car right behind him. Kind of reminds me of the first car that Emerson Fittipaldi drove when he got to IndyCar racing. He's in second, and Liam O'Sullivan is about a straightaway behind these two.
Yes, we have a lot of cars, or not a lot of cars, but I should say Saucier and Fiolis, 62 lap old tires, 57 lap old tires respectively. So these are two cars that are really making their fuel tanks last year. Definitely drivers who pit on some of those early cautions.
Yeah, Fiolis was on 24. Fiolis was on 24. So when Saucier does come to pit road, if there's no caution and we just continue this through the green flag stint, Fiolis might pick up a handful of laps led here. Watch these guys, the IndyCar track records here. Of course, AAA ran here back in the day. USAC ran here back in the day. CART ran here back in the day. The CART track record set in 1998 by Patrick Carpentier with a speed of 185.5. The IndyCar IRL track record set in 2006 by Elio Castroneves with a speed of 172.4. As Fiolis is coming to pit road right now. Saucier staying out long. Fiolis might decide that he just wants to come and do a short fill and maybe see if he can do a little bit of an undercut.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's going to get 4 new tires, and we can tell how much fuel he gets based off how long his car is stationary after it falls down. And yeah, you said it perfectly, Gary. Since his car was only stationary maybe half a second to a second, he definitely still had a good amount of fuel left in that tank for him to fully top off, because if you're going from full 0 to 18.5 gallons, you're gonna fall off the jack about 3 to 4 seconds before that fuel is done filling up.
And he comes out right with Liam O'Sullivan. And I almost thought he clipped the yellow line coming off of pit road. It was real close. He threaded the needle. So, but the Fiolis now down 1 lap. But he came out right in front of our leader. Or will be our leader, excuse me. Saucier is still out there. He is still the leader. But Liam O'Sullivan will pick up the effective race lead when Saucier comes to pit road.
Yeah, as Alcina is really, really pushing these tires out here. He's gaining on Liam O'Sullivan so quickly these last couple laps. Alcina put in, I believe, a 22.5, it's saying. O'Sullivan a tenth slower at a 22.6.
It is right in the middle of the corner.
Austin now
Lots of
really
gain.
has the run and down to turn 1.
This is nothing new for Julian. In the early days when Velocity Online Racing came here in Season 2 and Season 3, the high line was the preferred line. And I think Julian has retained that information and decided to go up high. And he is effectively a third lane using a lot of momentum and clean racetrack. And there he goes. He now pulls out a little bit in front of O'Sullivan by about 0.2.
And here we go, looking back in the pack. This is 7th, Edson Santos, and 8th, Anthony Heitzema fighting side by side. Of course, Heitzema in that yellow car behind, Edson Santos in that nice white car up ahead. And Santos now getting a pretty big gap on Heitzema, so it's funny, as soon as we cut to the battle, it kind of dies out a little bit, as it seems to happen, the unluckiness, I guess, of having to produce an Iverson cast, and now it's a Hornet's Nest. Where is this? This is for 13th position. Marcos Teixeira.
With our leader, with Julian in the neighborhood, so we got a bunch of guys here, and F-Tink wants to stay on the lead lap, and he goes way up high. He gave a lot of room, and his teammates should thank him for that, because that might effectively kind of locked him into position. He's up there rubbing the wall right now, but he's in 5th in the points, and effectively this is going to lock him down a lap and probably remove any chance of a win, at least at this point in the race.
Yes, Viola's now trying to fight to stay on this lead lap here as well, but already being behind Altona, probably not going to be able to. But this is actually a battle for position with Road and Evetink, as there's so many cars here. I'm getting confused on which lap they're all on, as Phyllis is able to hold off Evetink on that account, keeping that 11th position for the time being. Now we have a pit road that's Gastel.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Pim Van Gastel. He's on pit road. Okay, so he's on a different schedule, and he's down and away. He went 71 laps on that previous stint, so he's on a couple different stops. I know he dove down early in the race to top off, so he's on a slightly different fuel schedule.
Yeah, once again here in the battle, this is Evetink, and they made contact actually.
Oh, and we're cautioned. And that is with one of Carl Stout. That is with one of our cars in the top 5. Oh, and he comes down right in front of Vincent Santos under caution and takes out Santos.
So a battle ends in chaos, and the chaos spreads to Edson Santos, who is running a magnificent race in the top 5. It's going to come to an end for the 20 cars. He has a meatball and is just going to get that thing towed. But here we are now, I believe. Yeah, this is. It started with Carl Stout, I believe, in the 43.
Yeah, Stout and Evetink were in battle. Evetink is, iRacing forgave him. His front nose was floppy, but put the new wing back on. They went 3 wide into the quarter with Pim Van Gastel. And then, I got to be honest, I don't think Stout really didn't, I got to think that Santos probably should have come into the zone a little bit more cautiously, knowing that there should have been a message in his ear that we're under caution and it's in turns 3 and 4, and he was coming into 3 and 4. He should have been more caution on that, but he came in there pretty hot, and Stout probably looking on his relative, going, I got some space here, and he tries to spin it, and I don't know. I don't know. I think when the racetrack goes under caution, you should probably check it down quite a bit. And it looked like Edson was coming in there kind of hot.
Yeah, I agree. Santos definitely should have slowed his car down a little bit more. But also the rejoin from Stout right into the racing line. I mean, there's not a lot else he could do in that situation. It is a really tough call, especially at a short track. Like, where do I find the gap to rejoin if cars just going to keep flying by me one after one? That's going to be a tough one to call. I'm going to be completely honest, for our producer Howie here, as I've already mentioned, is one of the stewards for the series as well. So I feel a little bit bad for her with that one. Yeah, Santos definitely in my opinion going a little bit too quick, being under caution, but I can definitely see how Stout rejoining into the racing line like that, not good either.
Okay, so we have some takers to pit road, and we have some other non-takers to pit road, including our leader right now, which is Julian Altena. He has 25 laps now, 26 laps on this set of tires. He's got a wingman right now, John Christensen with 44 Nation. He is going to ride with him, provide a little bit of rear gunning support here for his teammate and team boss. Then we got Saucier, remember, who is on a slightly different schedule than everyone. He came to pit road not too long ago, came to pit road again, and because he was pretty much on a fresh tank, he just came in kind of topped off and came out in front of everyone else. So he's picked up a ton of track position. Liam O'Sullivan back and forth because Liam, he had a much earlier pit stop than Saucier. So he had more fuel that he had to literally put into the tank. He comes out in 4th. Lindy is now 5th. Cuthbert 6th. Hooker up to 7th. Eolas up to 8th. That is all the cars on the lead lap now at the moment. So we're not even to the halfway point, and there's only 8 cars left on the lead lap. So some drivers out there experiencing some hard times. We're going green this time, and look at them fan out in the back. But I'm kind of paying attention to this battle right around Liam O'Sullivan, because he really was the fastest car in the first half of this race so far, and he's going to go on the outside of Saucier, try to get a big run down the straightaway. Meanwhile, Julian Christensen and Julian and Christensen are taking off.
Yeah, those Alternate Autosports teammates finding how to link up and really just taking away, or pulling away, I should say, from these guys behind. But O'Sullivan now in 3rd as well. It is an Alternate Autosports podium lockout here, as Saucier going to be that lead car, not a part of that team, currently running 4th with Cledworth right behind. This is the interesting thing about IndyCar and just in iRacing, but IndyCar in general, is you see Cledworth in that bright pink car in 5th place, but he is by no means the 5th car in this pack, and that's because there are a lot of lap cars in between Cledworth and Brian Saucier. As right now, he's having to pass, I believe, Pim Van Gastel, and he's actually getting sent on by Cuthbert as he's trying to pass a lap car. So it's just absolute chaos.
That is a battle for position right there. So Cuthbert's not going to lit up at all there. And Pim just trying to stay high and wide and not get impact the battle any, because right around him is the would-be points leader. We're going to go 3 wide down the backstretch into turn 3. Oh, Cuthbert backs off a little bit. Here comes Violas a little bit further on back. He's side by side. Cuthbert's still there. Behind him, we got Vinci and Pim Van Gastel and F-Tink. F-Tink is repaired. Here goes Max Cuthbert to the inside, and 3 on Clindy, just sends it.
Yeah, the downside of sending it is surely you get, or maybe yes, you do get a little bit of a space going into the corner, but your exit, your run off the corner is going to be really, really compromised for that.
But drink when Clindy gets loose right in the apex of the corner, and that's going to cost some momentum, and Cuthbert's going to get the position that way. He just waited for an error.
Yeah, it's what you have to do a lot of times is play it patiently, wait for the other driver to make a mistake, and then make your move. Wait for the time to pounce, and then do your pouncing. That's what Cuthbert did there, and it works to perfection as the rookie now moves up to 5th. Let's see if he can chase down the other rookie in this top 5 here. But as I mentioned earlier, Gary, a lot of lap traffic to get through. I believe it's Heitzema and Teixeira in between Cuthbert and Saucier.
Yeah, that is an IndyCar rule. And it's also, we're on different type of pit strategies, and it's always a single file restart. IndyCar did experiment during the IRL years with doing 2 wide restarts, and I will say I saw a couple of them at the Indy 500 one year, and it was exciting, but man, was it dangerous. So I'm really glad they got rid of it. But I do like the wave around rule and allowing the leader to bring the field back to the green flag. By rights, they've earned that opportunity to do that, so they are granted that opportunity to do it. But before, they did that, they would often have cars that were slower, a lap down, and maybe some not as experienced drivers leading the field to green, and that's typically a recipe for final moments before disaster pictures. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's probably not a good idea, and they eventually just got rid of it. And I think it's a good idea that to allow the leader to take the green flag and bring the field back. But we're watching this battle here still with Clindy as he is trying to get to the underside of Hatsuma. Hatsuma currently a lap down, just trying to hang on to the front side of the leaders here, and maybe get another quick caution, and maybe he can get a wave around and get back on the lead lap. Hatsuma currently in 10th, 1 lap down. Becerra is the first car 1 lap down in 9th. The top 8 currently all on the lead lap. Shane Coker, last car on the lead lap.
Yeah, and I think what you're saying, Gary, it brings up a really interesting discussion that the owners, the admins of these real-life racing series have to think about. is the fact of, yes, you want this to be an entertaining race and super, not as chaotic, but like, entertaining, really bringing that value that you want as a viewer, but you also have to consider the driver's safety. So it's finding that balance between the driver's safety and entertainment value. But what's great here, this is iRacing. Driver safety is completely out the window because you can hit a wall at 300 miles an hour and you're going to be completely okay.
You maybe sprain your wrist,
have
you
that
have
restart
high,
rule.
You have a lot of torque in your force feedback wheel or something. It's not like driver safety.
True.
It's not like there's a lot of risk involved here.
But I think that's so cool why iRacing, these leagues can do that is because, real life IndyCar would be super, super risky to have two double file restarts every single restart. But here at iRacing, even though we keep it single file for all those restarts, we do have that instantly fanning out rule to allow these drivers to make moves, to give it more entertainment for viewers, and to just allow for more to happen. As IndyCar, you probably never see that rule just because it would be too dangerous.
Well, I think he's trying to, and I think Julian and the admins here at Velocity Online Racing, what they're trying to do is actually mimic what real-world IndyCar racing is. Remember, iRacing is a NASCAR sim, and IndyCar is part of it. We're watching Saucier and Cuthbert battle for position, going into one. And so often we see IndyCar slammed into the same NASCAR peg hole, and the same rules and everything apply. Typically on restarts is key to that. In real-world IndyCar restarts, they start coming up to speed, like for instance here at Milwaukee, between turns 3 and 4. The pace car is already off the racetrack by that point. And when the track goes green, as Julian's rule and the Velocity Online rule allows, once the track goes green, you could pass anywhere, anytime you want once the track is green. You don't have to wait to get to the start-finish line. That start-finish line rule and passing on the outside is an iRacing rule brought down from NASCAR, and it gets squeezed into the IndyCar rule of things, and I don't think it's necessarily fair, and I wish iRacing could eventually break into the code and allow certain things like better IndyCar restarts, more real-world IndyCar style restarts and that type of thing, but until then, we're kind of slammed into the same hole as NASCAR, and that's not very unholy, very fair. But with Julian's rule here, it does make things a little bit more real to life.
Gotcha. Yeah, I guess I did stand correct. I stand correct on that one, as I guess I'm not too familiar with the IndyCar rulebook. Yeah, it is interesting to think about because, of course, how we had the recent splitting of Formula cars versus sports cars. On the road side, I wonder if we're going to see maybe a stock car versus open wheel split on the oval side in the future, so you can get that discrimination between rules and that the race control being coded differently from IndyCars to NASCAR.
There definitely is a Formula style license now,
yes.
So that's often what IndyCar goes by for road, and then for oval they just use the oval license generally. So there's not like there's an open wheel oval license. That would be nice. If they could break it out further. I don't know how they would go back and do that. And of course, you have to retroactively kind of adjust the past history of iRacing for all those other wins you might have got credited for, how you're going to get credited for them. And many drivers like Clindy, who have a 6K, 7K type I-rating, don't really want to start all over again.
Yeah, I think it was really good what they did with the last split, where it took all of my road wins, and it just like it's a new section under my thing. It says road, and it's like in parentheses retired, and it still lists out all my wins there. And what it did also is that it took my current road racing and I-rating, or my safe rating and I-rating, it just made that my open wheel and my sports car. So even though I really hate driving sports cars, I have an A license in it just because I had an A license in a road car from driving Formula stuff. So it was really interesting to see how that split worked, and probably not the most, probably not the easiest thing to do for the oval side of it, splitting it between stock cars and open wheels. Definitely something that I would like iRacing to consider in the future.
Your leader right now, Julian Altena. He is out by 2.6 seconds over his teammate Liam O'Sullivan. Right in front of Liam, right behind Liam is John Christensen. So we have the Team Skittles up front right now, where we have the blue car, the purple car, and the I guess we call it the Easter eggshell type color car, John Christensen with 44 Nation. That is your top three right now, as Altena Autosports is kind of setting the pace. Those that got back-to-back wins with Indianapolis and Milwaukee in IndyCar history, as Pat Flattery won in Indy at the 556 and won here in 56. A.J. Foyt has one of those wins. Big Al has one of those wins. Johnny Rutherford has one of those wins. Gordon Johncock backed up his slim victory over Rick Mears in 82 with a win here at Milwaukee. The very next year, Tom Sneva did it. Rick Mears did it in 88. Little Al did it in 94. Of course, you mentioned Juan Pablo Montoya is the last driver to do it in 2000. And since then, Milwaukee has only reappeared as a race after Indianapolis for a short period in the mid-2000s. But right now, it's a little bit later in the season, and Detroit has kind of filled in the more natural spot after Indianapolis on the schedule. Don't forget, your defending NTT IndyCar champion from Milwaukee from last year, Christian Rasmussen. Most people forget that, but Christian Rasmussen with that big full send that he did on Alex Palou on the outside, tried to wreck his car a number of times. Yeah, don't forget, he got the win here.
Yeah, now we are halfway into the race officially. 125 laps, 125 miles completed, and then 125 laps, 125 miles to go as well. As here we now on board with Clenworth trying to bring down that gap to Saucier. And remember, Clenworth is someone that we really expect to be winning this race. You know, have a lot of pace here today. He's got a lot of experience in this car around this track, but I don't know, Altna O'Sullivan really just found something out there today. Or yeah, maybe it's big picture.
Big picture, and I don't mind that way of thinking at all. Just bringing the car home. We still have a long race to go. We still have another half of this race. Something can happen to Saucier. Something can happen to Cuthbert. Something can happen to Christensen. Something can happen to the leaders. I mean, anything can happen at this point, and he could pick up an easy position or two. Remember, easiest passes made are the ones where your car and your opponent is sitting in the road.
That's a great point. You know, the race of attrition is what we talk about a lot of the time with these IndyCar races, especially at road courses. I think Road Atlanta, we only had, I believe, 6 or 7 cars finishing on the lead lap. Essentially, just by surviving and not wrecking your car, you were able to get a top 10 in that race. And Eric Clenworth, as Gary is saying, probably doing the same thing, you know, saving fuel, saving tires, you know, really just feeling out the track, seeing where he can push, seeing where he can't. And by the time we get to 30, 20 to go, that's when that 37 will start making some moves, start pushing the absolute living crap out of that car, see what he can do later on in this race.
An inch from 13th coming on the pit road, and that ALZ.org car is kind of a scheduled stop. 33 laps into this stint. Might be making this his short stint and then doing long ones after this. Blendy has reached Saucier for 5th.
He's going to look to get a run here off of 4. Down the start-finish straight they go. He's going to be closing, using that draft, using that run. Once again, you see Clenworth entering really, really high. There's 2 reasons he do that. 1, to just simply get out of the air of Bryce Saucier in front of him, and 2, it's if you enter a little bit higher, you lift a little bit earlier, you're able to simply carry more speed out of the corner, see if you can get a good run to attack the car ahead of you. And every single time you see entering just slightly higher than the 07, and you know, like I said, the 2 reasons I just said is why he's doing that. And it really goes to show how, you know, skilled he is at these tracks, how much experience he has to know that you do not want to be driving directly behind the car in front if you're in a battle like that.
Lindy currently in a championship points battle right now in the iRacing Indy Oval Series. Currently in the top 3 right now, former champion there, just repeated in the vote of Indy Oval Series as their series champion. Also won over in the 2-time champion over the ISRA Open Wheel Series. So Lindy with multiple title belts around his waist and still collecting more. Also a win over in the Elite Racing League, and that's a very competitive series over there at Texas.
Now, Julian Altena comes down pit road. Remember, he and Christensen, both of those Altena Autosports teammates,
Yeah, they stayed out.
they were on, I believe they're currently
25.
on, yeah, so 66 laps and 65 laps their stint, so.
Yeah, they were 25 laps roughly when they decided to make the call to stay out. So Julian coming to pit road, and if he goes another 60 from here, that'll be one more stop for him, right around 190, 200 area, and then he'll be able to go home from there. But Liam O'Sullivan picks up the lead. Christensen staying out. Now Christensen comes to pit road. Again, he threads the needle on that very narrow entry into pit road here at Milwaukee. And both ends of pit road are very, very dangerous here. Getting on the pit road is like threading a needle. We talked about that. Coming off of pit road, you drop a wheel wrong, hit that rumble strip, you'll disrupt the back end of your car, have it spin out into traffic going out turns 1 and 2, take out other cars. So you got to be careful. We watch Christensen now as he's working his way back onto the racetrack. Watching, trying to bring this car up to speed. Look how narrow that is. You got grass to the inside. You have rumble strips to the outside. You're trying to bring it up to speed as fast as possible, but all the while, you got to keep your hands steady. You can't let the car waver, and he did a pretty good job as he's now back up the full song coming down the front straightaway.
As Cuthbert, or sorry, not Cuthbert, Christensen also had to come down for his pit stop as well. And now that puts O'Sullivan, Cuthbert, Saucier, and Cledworth. Now your top 4 is Cledworth having to battle with some lap cars there. It looks to be Fiolis and one other driver. It looked to be
actually Fiolis.
Oh no,
Fiolis is for position.
Yeah, sorry.
In that
my
pink
bad.
car, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, so Fiolis is up here to strategy.
Yeah.
He stayed out longer than everybody else. And that's why he's up here. I got confused because I swear that he was not on the lead lap, but that would make perfect sense as now Clenworth. This is not for position on the outside.
No, that is for
position.
position.
Is for position.
Side by side. That is Saucier.
I'm so sorry.
No, what happened is that where Julian came to pit road and things shook things up, is that how got Fiolis back on the lead lap. But Fiolis now back on the lead lap. He's in 5th. The Coker is in 6th. Julian now 1 lap down in 7th, but he's on a different strategy. Right now, we expect Saucier to come, or actually Fiolis to come to pit road about any time now. He went 60 in his first stint. He's at 60 now. So we expect to see him come to pit road. Saucier, Clindy, Cuthbert, O'Sullivan, all on the same strategy right now. And Fiolis, as mentioned, on pit road.
There we go. Gets that thing into first gear. A little bit of tire spin. But that's what you want, actually, out of pit road. That means you rev the engine. That means you get a really good launch out of there. And goes 37 miles an hour down that pit rate, or I believe 45, I believe, as it is around here. Down pit lane, he'll rejoin the track a lap down, but he'll be probably 9th position just behind Heitzema. And now Clenworth able to get past Saucier. Question now, Gary, is... Yeah, can Cledworth catch up to Cuthbert? Do you think that 7-second gap is too much before these next pit stops here?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to really run. The best thing he could do is try to maybe cut into that lead best he can when he's got clean racetrack in front of him. He's now around Bryce. The next thing for him to do is maybe think about maybe stopping a little bit early and try a little bit of get in there early, put some new tires on, come out and do some hot laps. Shorter fill and do an undercut and see if maybe he could eat into Cuthbert's deficit, or his deficit in the Cuthbert, right now. But Cuthbert right now battling traffic, so that's not helping Cuthbert's cause any. And the gap between O'Sullivan and Cuthbert's 4.7. The gap between Clindy and Cuthbert's 6.5.
And the tire strategy, the fuel strategy here is so interesting, because we have these top 5 drivers who all pitted 52 laps ago, but behind that, Gary, it is a complete mess of numbers. Altena pit 11 laps ago, Christensen 9 laps ago, Heitzema 54 laps ago, Fiolis 4 laps ago. I mean, besides these top 5, and a couple other people who pit on that same caution. I'm looking at Eve Tink, looking at Tessera, you're looking at Morani as well. And it's just a jumble of strategies up and down the entire grid here. Some drivers are a lap down because of it, some are 2 laps down because of it. And I mean, it's going to be so interesting to see how this shakes out and see how other cautions also play into it as well. So with 100 laps to go, this race is far from over, even if it is a 5-second gap from second to first. There's so much strategy at play here. And yeah, Fiola's Knightsma having a right old battle here for 8th.
I think Fiola's got to the backside of Hatsuma. Hatsuma might have lifted a little bit, and I think Fiola's had to take a little bit of basic maneuver on the last lap going through 3 and 4. This time, though, Fiola's going to slide up the racetrack and let Hatsuma know a little displeasure about last time they went through turns 3 and 4. Hatsuma not done. He goes to the inside. He wants that position back, but I think Fiola's has it secured. And now he looks to try to get some track position and get around Dan Inch, which is next car ahead of him.
Yeah, Fiola's using those new tires to really, to his advantage here, as just makes really quick work of that lapped car. I hope I'm safe in saying that this time, as I believe that was, someone that's 2 or 3 laps down, and Fiola's only 1 lap down.
Yeah, that's Dan Inch, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's
gotcha.
3 laps down at 15th. He's doing a good job of staying out of everyone's way. Tessera.
Yeah, Fiola's now has his sights on Christensen ahead of him.
And Tessera now in 12th. He gets around Hatsuma. That's not a battle for track. Little track position here. Back up front, Liam, your leader, and not too far behind Liam is Julian, looking to get that lap back.
Yeah, one
Top
of our
5
drivers that's on that alternate strategy, really having to fight here. And remember, he did pit, I believe, 20 or so laps ago. So he does have fresher tires than the rest of the field here. Yeah, he pit 18 laps ago. There's a fresher tires than the guys ahead. Gonna be able to use that to his advantage. But Gary, what that does mean is that he definitely has 1 more stop left to go in this race. So he's not home free just yet. As we're looking at it though, these guys like O'Sullivan, who are 60 laps into their stints, if they make it 7 more laps to 67, that gets them to 87, and that's not the fuel window either, Gary. So O'Sullivan, Cuthbert, Clenver, Saucier, Coker, they have 2 stops left, all 5 of them.
Yeah, there might be a fuel save or a splash at the end. They're kind of hoping for some caution. So those that just recently stopped not too long ago, including Julian, might be in a better position because they'll come to pit road and they'll just have their final stop and be done for this race, unless something happens late where they might need to come to pit road. They have plenty of tires. But right now, O'Sullivan is 62 laps into his stint, in the same boat as Cuthbert, Lindy in 3rd, Saucier in 4th, Julian moving ahead of Coker. Coker on pit road, I believe. Yeah, Coker coming into pit road, and this is going to be a bit of a stretch for him. He'll have to do a splash and dash at the end. I don't think he has 90 laps of room in that fuel cell. If he does, I want that fuel.exe hack.
I was talking about it a little bit before the race with Gary here, is 18.5 gallons of fuel can maybe go 72, 73 laps at most, but you're looking at lap 8, 6th gear, clutching the entire lap around. And we have the leader now. The pit road, I believe, is that O'Sullivan and that 12 machine coming down.
Yeah, and this is O'Sullivan is going to have to stop late as well. He is only 64 coming to 65. So let's just do the math, and I'll bring up the old calculator here. We're at lap 161. He's pitting at 161, and he did 64 coming to 65. So let's just say he does 65. That puts him at 226 for his final stop, so he's still going to need to do another stop with about 25 to go. Black flag for Road Iftink. He's at 16 incidents. That might be incident limit. So stopping on pit road will not make that black flag go away. He will have to do a drive-through.
Let's take a look. A lot of wall contact is a 0x with iRacing. It would have to be a very hefty contact.
Yep.
That is a very hefty
is.
Contact to give that machine a 2x.
Yeah, he came in and got service, but he still has the black flag, and he'll have to do a
look at the understeer. Oh,
he might be damaged from an earlier incident too. He might be damaged from an earlier incident.
Yeah, that onboard was so telling. As did you see that wheel was like 90 degrees turn left? I mean, Iftink just contact. Christensen, Stout.
And now, what happened? This is Christensen and Stout. No, Christensen and Cuthbert.
Cuthbert, sorry, my bad.
To the inside, here's Christensen. Christensen goes to the inside and just makes contact. We'll see the replay here real quick. So here goes Christensen, kind of a late send here. Gets it down low and just moves up the racetrack. Oof, and that takes out one of our leaders. And this is good for a number of guys here now who, again, not real close with Cuthbert moving back down the racetrack, trying to rejoin. Wow. So Clinty's going to pick up the lead just by pit road. I mean, just everyone coming to pit road. He'll come to pit road. Saucier will come to pit road. Julian is going to come to pit road. Yes, he will. Liam O'Sullivan's going to stay out because he just stopped. Christensen is going to stay out. Well, I'm surprised he didn't come to pit road. He might have damage on his car. We don't know, but he's 28 laps ago, so he's going to kind of repeat what he did for the last caution. He's going to stay out. But everyone coming to pit road, and I don't think, everyone now has to see another stop, I think. Excuse me. I don't think, everyone's still going to have to do another stop.
Yeah, I was just thinking the exact same thing. The interesting part about the timing of this caution coming out with 85 to go is that it's going to level the playing field between all of these drivers on different strategies. Essentially, it just gets completely erased. As now with 84 to go, you cannot make it to the end no matter how much fuel saving you do. It is just insanely impossible.
Unless there's a ton of caution. Unless
we're caution to caution to caution, which if we are, I might just log out of Discord for the day. But yeah, it's going to be 42. They're probably going to split it in half too. 42 laps, pit, 42 laps. So you're not wearing out those tires too much. And it completely levels the playing field, gets rid of any strategy that might have been happening. No more fuel saving, no more tire saving. You get 2 quick stints to the end, and we get 2 great stints of racing.
A lot of cars getting the wave around, and that will allow Liam O'Sullivan to pick up the lead of the queue as we go green next time by. It's going to be O'Sullivan with 6-lap old tires. Got another car getting the wave around there. That is Coker. Then we got Christensen with 29-lap old tires. And then we have Vinci and Iftink in front of Clindy. And one of them's going to the inside. Iftink, I think, is going to get out of the way. Go, green flag. That's, I think, a bit of a gentlemanly thing of Iftink there to do, just to get out of everyone's way. He might also possibly damage. Here comes Bryce to the inside of Clindy, and not too far out of this is Julian looking for the opportunity to pounce. Battle, 3-way battle. This is for 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Yeah, and Clindy's just going to want to put these 2 drivers behind him. He He knows his battle today is not with Saucier or Ortena. He knows he wants to be fighting with Christensen, with O'Sullivan for these first and second positions here. So he's just going to want to really just pull away from the guys behind, completely forget about them, leave them in the dust, so he can start fighting for those positions that he really cares about. Because remember, with Solowaj out of the race here today, Glenworth just looking for some good points to get him a solid championship lead here, as Solowaj going to be scored in this race 24th, or excuse me, sorry, 21st, almost
right
dead
now,
last. It's going to be a lot of points pickups here for Glenworth, as now it looks like he's gotten away from Altena, and Altena actually able to get past Bryce Saucier for 4th place, and Glenworth is able to put a little bit of gap on that 11 car.
Still the top 7 on the lead lap. Last car on the lead lap is Coker. And Bryce to the inside of Julian. I think Julian's going to be able to hold on. He just seems to have that more momentum on the high side. And oh, big twitch. Big twitch. Don't want too many of those coming off the quarter. Julian holding on that lead here in 4th spot. And he's looking to possibly, out of all this, move up into 2nd in the points, going to the final race of the season. And Vince almost into the turn 2 wall. This is fresh tires versus very old tires. Christensen doing a good job giving him room, but this shows you, oh, Christensen running out of room coming off the corner. Did everything but hit the wall there. Sending it to the inside. Oh, Christensen wanted to come down, but all of a sudden heard inside. Lindy going to clear him coming off the corner. Going to slide up in front of him if he wants to, but he's going to stay low and defensive into 3 and 4. Not too far outside of him there. There's Christensen, and he starts now to pull away. Lindy controls the spot now. Move Lindy up the P2.
Yeah, you mentioned it. It's 8-lap old tires versus 36-lap old tires. 28-lap difference around a mile track like Milwaukee is absolutely massive. Like, it is hard to put in words the pace difference that you'll have just with that 28-lap difference in tires there. And you see Julian Altena right behind, also making quick work of Christensen, or I'm sure a little bit of team orders was put into place there, as you know. They are both on Altena Autosports, and you're not going to fight your team boss on 28-lap older tires.
Yeah, you're going to give your team boss plenty of room. You did your team boss maybe a little bit of a favor, slowing down Clendy a little bit, allowing Julian to jump into the battle. Think of it more of a sacrifice bunt in baseball. You got the out, but you moved the runner ahead.
That's a great way to work. Great way to look at it. And if Christensen's able to help Altena get the win in the end, if that slowing up of Glenworth was able to help him get the win, maybe you can even call it a sack flies. Score the run in the end as well.
And he is playing rear gunner a little bit. He is playing rear gunner a little bit to Julian by holding up Bryce, who's in 5th spot. So giving him the dirty air. So giving a little bit of buffer. Julian knows he doesn't need to worry about John. The only one he needs to worry about is Bryce. And Bryce right now is kind of behind this battle by a pretty comfortable margin, at least when it comes to IndyCar margins on a racetrack.
And it's been a while since we've cut to him, but it's really just been the Liam O'Sullivan show today. Currently 2.7 seconds ahead of Glenworth. I mean, I can't remember the last time that he was less than 2 seconds ahead of the guy in 2nd place. It seems like he's just been absolutely dominant all of today. You can see the stat on the screen, 84 laps led in total. That is definitely the most by anyone. Gonna pick up those 2 bonus points that you get for leading the most laps, and also up 8 positions on the day. A lot of notable drivers up a lot of positions on the day. We can go back and run through some of them. Christensen up 9, 13th to 4th. Saucier up 9 as well, 14th to 5th. And just behind them, Fiolis up 11. Shane Kosher up 12. And a lot of these drivers up 12, 7, 12, 6. as you go down through the order, Heitzema, Teixeira, Vinci, Gassel, all of them up many positions from where they started. It's a great race for some comebacks. That Clendy is funny. The only person that is in the exact same place where he started, the only person I'm looking at it, he's neutral. So he's exactly where he started the race. Altina's up 3. Yeah. And besides that, everybody else is gained 6 or more.
That's left running on the racetrack. Everyone has gained spots. So
That's
everyone
true,
in the green, with the exception of Clendy, who started second and currently is second. But again, a lot of drivers employing the drive to survive strategy. Keep the car off the wall, keep it between the lines, come to pit road, avoid the penalty, just pick up those easy spots and run this race out. 250 laps, a very long time. A very long race here at Milwaukee. Back in the day, back certainly in the 80s, they were just 200 lap races. They would be over fairly quickly, and after that, they started to extend the race distance to 225 and now later to 250. And that's kind of where it still is at today. But 250 here in the VOR series. Before, the first race that they had here back in season 2 was 125 laps. Then they did a couple seasons at 150, then back to 125. And since season 9, it's been 200 or more every time that the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series uses Milwaukee on the schedule. Just to keep you in mind, there have been 42 different winners in Velocity Online Racing over 14 seasons. There have been 4 first-time winners this season. The last first-time winner was a race ago. That was Kosik Solwedge when he won at Road Atlanta. So that is a little bit of a, I'm not sure if that is a series record, but it's been a while since the series has seen 4 first-time winners. But it says a lot about the parity in the lineup, up and down, good drivers, all the way through this roster. Once again, if you're just joining us, you're watching Velocity Online Racing's coverage of round 8 of 9 of the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series, coming to you from Milwaukee for the 9th running of the Milwaukee Mile 250, presented by Loverns Inc., which currently Liam O'Sullivan leads with just shy of 60 laps to go. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. The next race for us will be Saturday, November 22nd for Championship Saturday, as the series looks to close out its 14th campaign with its 7th ever stop at, as I call, Improper Phoenix, to crown a new series champion. Coverage starts at 3 p.m. Eastern time on the 22nd right here on Green Flag TV, so don't miss it. And we have been to Phoenix 6 times. This will be the 7th race coming up here to close this season out. 2 at Legacy, which I call Proper Phoenix, and 4 at Improper, which is the new NASCAR version of Phoenix. And I'm not a big fan of that racetrack, obviously. But we'll be going back to that racetrack as Liam O'Sullivan almost greeting the turn 2 wall. A little bit too close there.
And these drivers are starting to get a little bit spicy now. They're going to turn up the pace a little bit with 59 to go. They know that there's a lot to play for here, and we're going to get a little look at what happened one more time. We're going to see how big of a contact this 12 machine was with the wall here. As you see, I believe this is exit of 4 here. We're gonna slow it right on down for you guys, and
Yeah, he got closer off a 2.
okay,
I think maybe
okay.
on the maybe on the next lap, but it was definitely reading the turn 2 wall and giving. I'm sure everyone likes to give kisses and receive kisses, but that's a kiss you don't want to really give the wall at all. Not this late in the race, and not with a lead that big at the moment. Also, to remind everybody, today's Milwaukee 250 is brought to you by Loverns Incorporated. Loverns provides professional services in renovation, remodeling, painting, and mold removal services for government, commercial, and residential projects. For a quote or to learn more, like them on Facebook, or you can follow them or also visit them at lovernsinc.com today. Again, that's lovernsinc.com.
And the other thing I want to note is if you're enjoying the racing action here on Green Flag TV, make sure to tune back in with us tonight, 7:55 p.m. for the new SRA Speedway Blitz Series. I will be back once again for that, joined either by Nolan or Derek. I never quite know on which day it's going to be, but I will be joined by that one at 7:55 Eastern time, so make sure to tune in for that. if you still want to watch some racing on the rest of this lovely, lovely Saturday before we get the Brazilian Grand Prix tomorrow for F1.
54 to go here at the Milwaukee Mile. Your leader is Liam O'Sullivan, who is 36 laps into his current stint, and we expect to see him come to pit road and not too far in the distant future to make his final stop. Lindy, 31 laps into his stint, is currently in second. Julian Altina, leader of that Altina Autosports squad, and also one of your points contenders. He is in third, 32 laps into his stint as well, on the same schedule as Lindy.
Yeah, as now it's going to be really a decision of when these drivers want to pit. You want to pit earlier, maybe undercut the guy ahead. You know, use those fresher tires to an advantage. You want to split the stint in half. Go 42, 42C if you can, you know, not wear out the tires too much. And here we go, an early pit stop. Is that Christensen coming down?
Christensen coming with 51 to go, coming to 50 to go. He should be able to make it really to, at this point, fuel and tires wise. It will just be on a very well-worn set if we stay green the entire way. That could be his final stop. Right, he already had about 28 or so on that tank when we went green flag racing, so he took it as far as he could have gone.
Yeah, I think he was one of the guys that stayed out at that last pit stop, so yes. I believe he already had like 28 laps or so on that set of tires, on that set of fuel, so it makes sense why he had to come down pit road earlier than everybody else here.
Another 20 or so after the restart, and that kind of gets you into the 50 to go range, gets you into the window to kind of get home. Oh, again, Liam O'Sullivan into the turn 2 wall again. Very close.
Yeah, I mean, if he started to get spicy, I don't know if he's killed his right front, he's pushing too hard, or maybe he's getting nervous. Kyle Klendworth, 1.1 seconds behind now and closing. So, I mean, I don't know if it's a combination of all of those things, but
well, he's got Pim and Muriani in front of him. They're only a second ahead as Christensen goes purple to 22.195. That beats Liam O'Sullivan's 22.199 purple lap set not too long ago. But he does have Muriani, he does have Pim Van Gastel in front of him inside of that draft envelope. So when you're inside the draft envelope of these cars, you're getting the benefit of the draft down the straight, but you're getting the non-benefits of dirty air through the corners, and that's exactly what he's picking up as Clendy now has cut the lead to 0.6, now 0.5.
This is going to get super, super close here by the end of the stint, and honestly, if I'm O'Sullivan, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold off Klendworth for as long as I can, make it as tough as possible for him to pass me, but when he inevitably does, I'm just going to come down pit road and go for the undercut. Speaking of pit road, Bride Fuelless, that 06 bright pink machine coming down pit road, making that stop. He is going to be one of the people that are doing that second strategy I talked about. You know, cutting that stint in half, 42-42.
Yep, final stop for him. He's good. He's good. He's just hoping for some issues to happen in front of him to kind of improve his outlook of this race. He's probably looking at a top 10. We got a battle for the lead. Back up front, Clendy is to the attenuator of Liam O'Sullivan, and Sullivan is still getting the impact of those cars in front of him. And Clendy also will be getting that impact as well, and you might also start seeing, and look how high Clendy is on the racetrack. He's seeking that clean air. And also, don't rule out, don't look too far behind Clendy, but Julian Altina might be joining this group if they race these back markers too hard.
Yeah, it's going to be so difficult because O'Sullivan, as you mentioned, he's getting the dirty air of those back markers ahead, which just makes it all the more harder for him to hold off from Klendworth. As this is just so scrappy.
Like a zipper. As Pim gets out of the way. Pim just gets out of the way, And also, Miriani kind of gets out of the way. He stays high, and that's going to not quite allow Clindy to clear. Now Clindy clears. Christensen improves his purple lap to a 22.148. And to the outside, as I think, yeah, Liam is coming to pit road.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense at this point in the race. If you think Clenworth has better pace than you, go for the undercut. Try something different. Because if Clenworth simply beats you on track right here, gets the pass done, and then he pits before you, and you go on the same strategy as him, it's going to be super, super hard to get that pass done in the end because we talked about track position. So O'Sullivan coming down earlier, going for the undercut, fighting for that track position and making Clenworth put in all the hard work later in the race.
The lap down now. So Clindy, how long is Clindy? Because we know that Liam's going to be fast, and we also know that he's light because you don't need a full tank of fuel to get to the end. So he's on fresh tires and light tanks or a lighter tank. He's going to be fast. How long does Clindy want to stay out here and play with that margin? Should he answer right away? I would be more inclined to answer right away, but Clindy feels like maybe he could make some. No, he's coming to pit road this time. So he decided just to go a couple of laps. He gets down to the 45-mile-per-hour speed limit at the cones there, and now is beginning to look for his spot on pit road. Final stop for what will be your points leader at the end of this race. Coming to the marks, hits it, little cockeyed inside the stall. But again, enough inside the stall and lined up perfectly enough that they're going to be able to perform service down and away. New tires, full tank of Shell fuel down and away. Clindy will rejoin the racetrack, and there goes Liam around him.
Yeah, so Liam O'Sullivan, it looks to be 2.5 or so seconds. Unfortunately, they're both a lap down now, Julian Alchina, so we can't quite tell what that gap is, but not only is there a pretty decent time gap, there's also
it's,
a
1.5,
good amount of lap cars in between
1.4,
them. Okay.
1.4, 1.5 up to O'Sullivan from Clindy. And is now Clindy's actually racing, that is Pim, I think? Julian coming to pit road.
I believe so. Altina now coming down pit road at 11, making his last scheduled stop of the day. 4 out of 4 for him right now. And then the rest of the guys that still have to come down, it's going to be Saucier, Kosher as well, running first and second. And then further back in the field, Heitzma and Vinci.
Sorry, Julian had damage on his right front wing plane. It reset when he came to pit road, so I'm not sure exactly what happened there. But right front wing plane, which will be the wall facing. He didn't lose time, so it must have been a wipe down or something. But it did. The graphic did refresh on my screen for whatever damage he had there. So maybe he had some, maybe he didn't. But Saucier now, Bryce Saucier is the leader. Saucier's going to have to come to pit road at any time, really. He's going to probably come about with a 20-ish to go. And then that's going to turn the lead over to Coker. But I think Coker's going to pit before then. He's now 60 laps into his final, next to last stint.
Yeah, we got 6 more drivers that still have to make their final stop. Saucier and Coker, as you just talked about. Heitzma and Vince currently running 8th and 9th. And then behind them, Gastel and Morangi running 11th and 12th. Those are the 6 drivers that still have to make one more stop to make it to the end on field. But what I'm more focused on is this battle between Clenworth and O'Sullivan. The battle for the net lead. And Altina now getting past all of Fiolis and Heitzma here is able to instantly get past them.
Purple.
Now trying to get past his lap traffic here as well.
Lenny Purple, a 22-1. So he is the man on the move, and he sees the target in front of him. And there's Julian and Christensen, along with that is Saucier, but he just stopped. Clindy, purple lap again, a 22 flat.
Blistering pace from that bright pink car later on into this race here. And I think, Gary, you called it about 80 or 90 laps ago. He's just been biding his time, waiting, playing everything safe, being conservative about it, not wanting to overdrive, make a mistake. And now that he's got a fresh set of tires, a fresh tank of fuel, a 30-lap sprint to the end of the race, 22-1, 22 flat, 22-1, quickest time after quickest time after quickest time. He's putting the pressure on O'Sullivan with a 1.2 second gap in front. By the time this race gets to probably 10 or 15 to go, we're going to have a good old battle for the lead between the 12 and the 37.
The laps difference in tires on those cars too. But what you see Clindy doing here is kind of right from the Rick Mears playbook of doesn't matter where you are early in the race. It doesn't matter where you are in the middle of the race. It matters where you are and where your car is set up for at the end of the race. And we are in the closing stages, 26 to go, as now we still wait for Bryce Saucier to come to pit road. And I think he's coming to pit road right now. This will turn the effective lead over to Liam O'Sullivan, but Clindy now has cut it within a neighborhood of a second to Liam O'Sullivan, as we're going to go 24 to go, and that's what the gap will be going into one.
Yeah, and every single lap, if I'm looking at the timings correctly, he's getting a 10th every single lap. And if he's already a second behind, we're definitely going to have a battle within about 10 laps here. Is, yeah, 8/10 first to second. We talked about it. It's another lap where Cledworth is just able to reel him in a lap after lap. I mean, it's been the O'Sullivan show for, it seems, 250 laps. But Gary, it doesn't matter how many laps you lead. It matters if you lead the last one. I will never forget it. My first ever race win in the IndyCar in the Collegiate Series. It was around Michigan. I only led one lap that race. But guess what? It was the last one.
Ask Dan Weldon in the 2011 Indy 500. He only led one lap there. Ask Michael Andretti, who led the most laps in Indianapolis without a win at Indianapolis at the 500. He would love to have that last lap to be him leading under it. Never had that happen. So here comes Clindy now, 7/10 to O'Sullivan. So the good news for Clindy, he's in the draft envelope. He'll be able to use that draft down the straight to get closer. The bad news for Clindy is he's getting dirty air, but he has choices to make in the corners because there's not a lot of lap traffic around.
Yeah, and now that he's in that dirty air, those gaps is coming down slower and slower. We saw it was a 10th after 10th after 10th, but now it's just like half a 10th. You know, like maybe like a quarter of a 10th. You know, very minuscule every single lap, and this is where you have to be perfect. Every single lap, these last 21 to go, every single mistake will be reflected in the times. And every single small error will be that much you fall back off of O'Sullivan. And this is where pressure happens where diamonds are made. Oh, and yeah, I believe, yeah, lap traffic is going to get out of the way, though, for both these cars. Good to hear.
I love that camera shot that we had with Clindy there, the old Robbie Gordon cam, as I call it, back from the mid-90s ABC's coverage of the Indy 500 and kart days. But he is now crept within 3/10 as he is staying up high, getting the clean air, but right in front of Liam O'Sullivan. We got Hatsuma coming to pit road, and he's there. He's at the attenuator, and he's going to take a peek down low, going into one. Meanwhile, in front of Liam O'Sullivan, that is Teixeira and Muriani. Not a battle for position, but they are they're in the draft envelope. Or actually, Liam O'Sullivan's in the draft envelope of Muriani, so he is getting that dirty air from Muriani.
As yeah, dirty air, draft. I mean, around a short track, it's so hard to tell which is better in this scenario. Or I guess I should say, does the dirty air hurt you more than the draft helps you?
Liam stays high this time, and this time Clindy stays low. I think Liam was staying high because he saw Clindy up there and thought, well, I'm going to go up there and try to flash him some dirty air. And here goes Clindy down low into 1 and 2 off the backstretch. And we're going to have a drag race down the backstretch. No, it's going to have enough momentum. Liam's going to get the lead back. Clindy's going to reset again. Does it again. Sends it down low in 3 and 4. We're going to have a drag race coming off the corner down the main straight. Clindy's going to have a nose at the line. No, Clindy is just behind. Liam leads the lap. Down in the 1 and 2 again. Clindy now. Can he slide up the racetrack and close the door? No. He's a nice guy. He didn't do that. He could have done that. But he's going to lead by a nose going into 3 and 4. And he could probably slide up the racetrack now. And I got to believe that Mariani was probably a little bit of dirty air was impacting that battle. And now they're going to do a bit of a weave and defense down the front stretch. But Clindy's going to stay low, and he needs to get around Mariani. Mariani giving the dirty air that time to Liam. Liam actually comes up near the wall on turn 2 exit. Now we're going to go side by side into 3. Mariani stays high. Clindy in the middle. Liam down low. Clindy's going to have the momentum in the middle. He's going to carry on the position now with 13 to go.
Now, Glenworth now pretty solidly has that position, and I'm a little bit shocked that O'Sullivan thought that high line would be better for defense. You saw he ran it lap after lap after lap, and every single lap, Glenworth got a little bit more on the exit, and a little bit more on the exit. And after 3 laps of essentially side-by-side activity, Glenworth able to clear himself in the end as O'Sullivan. Oh, O'Sullivan's in the wall. He's lost his right front wheel. No, he's been forgiven. Never mind.
But it's allowed Julian to get back into this battle. And at this point, this is where you, team orders, and a team owner might have to say orders and say, hey, I'm going to need these points in this championship. Let me by. I don't know if they'll execute that or not, but that's.
Yep, you called it.
I think I called it right there. That pass was a lot easier than it looked for Julian. Now, I do know that Shane Coker and Clindy do work with one another, but Coker's going to stay out of the way there. I thought Coker might actually play rear gunner a little bit for Clindy, but 10 to go, and here comes Julian Altena, looking for his 3rd career win here at the Milwaukee Mile.
Now, Altena on Glenworth, can he bring it up? I mean, here's the thing. Glenworth had to burn out his right front tire fighting O'Sullivan. Altena did not have to do that. So Altena, just by that fact alone, will have better tires than Glenworth. And as we thought, it was Glenworth versus O'Sullivan for the win. Julian Altena throws his name into the hat. With 9 to go, 7 tenths in closing, 6 tenths in closing, I should say. Do not discount the 11 car here at the Milwaukee Mile. 250 laps in total, 242 have been driven, 8 miles to go here, and it's gonna all come down to the wire.
Just in front of Clindy is Sarah by 1.2 seconds. Clindy is getting the impact of his dirty air through the corners. How long? I mean, I guess really to Sarah, who's currently in 8th spot and looking at a top 10 finish, there's really no reason for him to kind of move out of the way. He's not really impacting anybody. He just happens to be in the neighborhood of the leaders. So it's really going to be up to Clindy to navigate around this and be able to get around him and keep Julian at bay. As we now have 5.5 to go, coming to 5 to go as Clindy stays up high through 3 and 4, looking at the start and finish line. Go back to a battle for 4 spots.
Yeah, as you said, a battle for 4th, Christensen versus Saucier. Sorry, the 44 and the 07. We're going to take a look at this battle for a little bit before we go back to that lead, as Altena still has an 8 tenths gap to Glenworth in front, and you never know when there's a lapped car ahead of them, as there is right now. You never know when it's all going to implode here.
And right now, Altena Autosports looking at a P2, 3, and 4. But Saucier looks like Bryce gets around Christensen and has the advantage. And now the Altena Autosports lockout at much of the top 5 has been kind of shuffled a little bit. Still not a bad finish for 44 Nation. much to be proud of themselves, and a lot of that that he got on the racetrack was gained by track position and strategy. So good calls on the box forever who was helping out John Christensen, because I think that's going to lead to a good solid finish for him. Coming to 2 to go, back up front, Clindy has reached the lap traffic. Teixeira staying high, Clindy going low. Teixeira going to let Clindy on by, as now he's down midway down the backstretch, a lap and a half to go. Julian now is in the clutches, or actually Teixeira now in the clutches of Julian. Julian gets it around Teixeira and now directly in competition and contact with Clindy. White flag in the air, 1 mile to go here at the Milwaukee Mile, here presented by Loverns Inc. And down the backstretch, Clindy looking at another win this season and to strengthen his advantage in the points championship. Off of 3 and 4. A little contact early, but a lot of celebration late. Clindy, your winner here at the mile.
And road racing takes it here at Milwaukee. Alton Sullivan round out your podium. Saucier Christensen coming in 4th and 5th. So it's 3 Alton Autosport cars in that top 5. But the win goes to Rogue Racing in the end. As you see, Alton and Cledworth giving each other a little bit of respectful bumps there, as Alton, the league owner, congratulating the 37 on a magnificently won race.
Clindy's 3rd win this season, behind opener at Homestead, the Indianapolis race that he drove brilliantly, and the good time, especially late in the season, in the middle of a points race, to get a nice points-paying win right before going into the final round in a couple of weeks when we go to Phoenix. Shall we take a look at the final standings? He's maybe just reflecting for a moment at the start-finish line.
Yeah,
Get a picture between all the logos. But Clindy with the win, his 3rd win this season, 3rd career win here in the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series. Julian Altena, so close to getting his 3rd win here career-wise at the mile. Comes home 2nd. Liam O'Sullivan 3rd. Dominant day for Liam, just late. It didn't work out for him. Bryce Saucier, a good finish, and probably will end up being your driver of the race, really, with made up 10 spots and made it up to 4th at the end of the day. Christensen, a lot of strategy brought him home in 5th. Violas, much the same way. A lot of strategy got him to 6th. Shane Coker, very consistent, up to 7th. To Sarah and 8th. Hatsuma 9th. And Andreas Vince, who started shotgun on the field. He started 19th. Let's see. He started 15th, or no, 16th. He improved 6th, so he worked his way up into a top 10 finish. That is your first page. Moving on to the next page is Pim Van Gastel at 11th. Mariani in 12th, Inch 13th, F-Tink. Not going to help him in the points championship much, with 14th worth of points in 5th spot. So we'll see when the points are calculated here where he takes out in all this, and see if he has a shot in the final race here coming up at Phoenix. Cuthbert 15th, Mason Mitchum 16th, Stout 17th, Edson Santos 18th. Again, some of these guys here had contact late and not indicative of their performance. Hinder in 19th, Lal in 20th. And final page here is our points leader coming into this race, Kosik Solwich. He's 21st, Dufresne 22nd, Seigers 23rd, Vitor 24th, and Strauss in 25th when we had that big turn 1, lap 1 incident to start this race off.
It's a great race from Clenworth, taking the win in the end, and hopefully we can get a chance to talk to our podium finishers, because I always love asking them some good questions. Clenworth, Alternate, and O'Sullivan, and I'll give it to you, Gary, as I think we might have those very shortly.
Yeah, we do things a little differently here in Green Flag TV. We'll bring the winner in first, so we will bring in Clindy down first. Clindy, congrats on the win. Just go ahead and we'll get it addressed early here. Elephant in the room contact, netcode contact with Caustic early in the race, put him into the wall. your side of that, and then how the rest of your race unfolded here, probably moving yourself into the points lead going into the finale here in a couple weeks at Phoenix.
Yeah, first and foremost, I cannot apologize enough to Kostek for that. That is absolutely not intentional. That is not how I choose to race or want to race. He is my competitor. He is my, hope to say, friend. But, it's really lamentable that when two cars are racing for position and they take normal racing lines, they both get punished for doing so. So um, I'm going to give every bit of room I can to him in the future. I'm going to request the stewards set our points to be even coming into the next event, if that is possible. If not, I'm going to try to lobby to get myself a penalty, so that way our points are even rather than him being brought up. It is just not at all how this championship should play out, and it's kind of the way iRacing goes sometimes. But I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that he's made whole, and that this does not impact his championship fight, because it shouldn't. Like, it is supremely unfair for him to be rooted out of the way on lap 18 when I felt there were at least 2 full tires of width between our 2 cars, and I was taking a normal racing line that would go outward towards the wall and exit, and assumed he was as well. And I guess the netcode thought that he was pinching me a little closer than he was, or that I was cracking out a little faster than I was. I just cannot believe circumstances, and I'm happy to address it and apologize profusely. But like I said, I want to do everything I can to make him whole and make this right, so that way he doesn't feel like he was taken advantage of for championship fight.
Well, that aside, after that incident, you still had 90% of the race that you still had to complete. And you spent some time kind of in the mid pack and then worked your way up, and a little strategy got you back up into the lead pack. And a late race run to get around Liam to get the lead and then walk away with this, even though Julian was kind of in the neighborhood. I mean, you still had to get yourself in the right frame of mind after the contact or the netcode contact to still continue to run the rest of this race. And you did talk about getting that focus back and just getting back in the right frame of mind. That okay, other than that contact, I still have a job to do.
I mean, and quite frankly, I wasn't. You saw Liam absolutely blasted my brains away on that next restart. I thought, when it went green, and he was on my side pod before we crossed the start finish line. So I either had a slow reaction or he jumped it, one way or the other. And from there, I lost control. So I just went into fuel save mode because I knew I'd never pass a car in clean air. And then I went longer than everybody by a lot. I was only 2 laps short from making it to the end on one more stop at the end there, which was my plan. And that just allowed me to have the best tires at the end, which allowed me to hunt down Liam with a tire advantage. And then I think maybe he had accidentally unchecked tires for his final stop because I ate him up. And I think he maybe even pit when he blew a tire there at the end. So I kind of knew Julian loved the high side, and he used it to blitz by me after I went to fuel save mode. So I knew I just could protect the top, and I didn't think I could get beat on the bottom. So um, I don't want to say that everyone tipped their hands a little early, but like, I think everybody knew that I was a bottom feeder, and they would get to my outside and pass me. It happened 3 or 4 times this afternoon, and that's just the way these things go. Everybody had a different strategy, and I chose to save fuel. I looked after my mentor, Shane Coker. He taught me how to save fuel here, and I got a number that got me within spitting distance of the end by cutting a stop. But I rolled the dice, but it played out in my favor with the overcut anyway.
Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. Anyone want to say hi to? And then we'll go over the points real quick.
I'm sorry, what?
Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. Anyone you want to say hi to real quick, and then we'll go over the points.
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry about that. Just shout out to Shane again, who
No
runs the
problem.
Votive Racing League. We race Sunday night starting in January at the Indy Votive Derby, and then going forward, we're gonna maybe have some exhibition races that are off broadcast this off season. We haven't decided yet, but those will be a fun time. Come join our Discord. I'll give you coaching tips for anything you want to do, whether it's fixed or votive. Shout outs to Techtopia Systems, our presenting sponsor for Tuesday night top split racing action on P1 Broadcasting. Seb, Alexander, and I, affiliate teammates, are racing for the championship there Tuesday nights. That'll be really fun to watch the rest of the season. We got Pocono this week. It'll probably decide a lot of things. And shout out to all my Rogue Racing and Alliance teammates, because we are actively working here to get our Gateway set and our Hoosier 500 set ready for Pro Q and for the Hoosier 500. And we want to make a big splash in both those oval races coming forward soon. And then last but not least, thanks to my friends and family who watch, especially my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, my cousin Craig, who runs Stegerman Farms. And if you go to advanced.gg, I stayed focused all day because I used some of their watermelon kiwi energy supplement. So sign out there with or check out there with promo code ClendySendy, and you can get 15% off your order.
A third career win today for Clindy, third win this season after winning at Indianapolis. Be a shame. I kind of wished Milwaukee would actually back up Indianapolis. That would have been a more a historical, important back-to-back win. But still, getting the win at Milwaukee with the race to go still is a good way to go into the final round. Regardless of what happened, the points lead for you is 19 points. Kostic is in second. Julian 16 points behind Kostic. Uh, F Tank he had a bad day, but Luis Nunez was not in the lineup, so actually he's now tied Luis Nunez for fourth. Seb Kinder is back in fifth. Hatsuma is in sixth. Christensen is seventh. Tessera is at eighth. Alal ninth, and Crocker, who was not in the lineup, is at 10th. And there's a big bit of a tie for that area of the standings as well. Clindy, we're going to let you go, but we will see you in a couple weeks when we get to the finale on the Oval at Phoenix. Until then, we'll see what happens and shakes out from the stewards as a result of what happened in turn two. But congratulations still on the win, nevertheless. And right now, you are the points leader.
Thanks, Gary.
And that is a very disappointed Clindy. Rightfully so. But we will bring in right now Julian Altena, who finished second, the host with the most. And Lucas will take over asking Julian how his race went. So go right ahead, Lucas.
Yes, welcome, Julian Altena, second place finisher for today, also the league owner. Talk us through how it was out there. Milwaukee, very difficult mile. How are you able to tame it there today and get yourself on the podium?
Yeah, first of all, you have to finish all the 251 of those. Well, where do I even begin? Yeah, it was just a really, really difficult and sweaty race overall. Hard to pass as usual here. Setup was good. Weather was a little bit too hot for any overtaking to really happen. She got a few laps into this, but yeah, I had one major screen freeze early on, and that really scared me and probably scared something out of out of Kyle too, because that happened right in front of him. But luckily, I didn't have any more of those during the race, and I was able to finish. That was my main concern. Um, yeah, I might be laughing now, but this is the most frustrated I've ever been with a P2 because I needed to gain points on Kyle for the championship, and I wasn't able to do that. Liam was going for his own race, of course, and yeah, it was a bit of a difficult call for him to make, and make of that decision what you want. A right or wrong answer to that because you're going for the win. So I understand it. For my side, just frustrating, of course, but that's just the way it goes. You can't win them all, and I haven't won in a in a few months. But yeah, just really curious to see how Phoenix goes with a double plane for the first time. Yeah, just a little bit annoyed with P2 because I know I should have probably won the race because I know I had the pace, but I just couldn't pass or stick, make anything happen. Like once you get close, you just burn the tires up.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can never forget, of course, the win that you had at the second heat of the Indy GP a couple months ago, as you said. So first there, second here. So I know you want that win. It'll come eventually. Don't you worry. But before I send you off, is there anybody you would like to thank out or shout out or thank, I should say, before we send you off here?
Yeah, my teammates, of course. Like I said, it was a difficult position for Liam to be in. Did a really good job, and once it really came down to it, he did make the right call to just let us go. But yeah, really good teamwork overall. You guys, Nolan especially for with all the stuff going on with the overlay, chasing on it, and it's not getting fixed for whatever reason. So I need to yeah, I need to speak to somebody about that. But yeah, it's not down to anything behind the scenes here. It's takes it. Overlay is awesome. It just needs to work properly. Like it has potential, just like my driving actually. Yeah. Like I said, you guys really just doing an awesome job here. Drivers that came out, it was nice to see. 5 cars again. Had a bit of a dip in attendance lately, and it's nice to see that go back up again. Thanks to everyone who came out. Gary Lovern, his I believe it's father-in-law. I have to really quickly. Yeah, father-in-law passed away. So condolences to him, his wife, of course, entire family and friends and close ones. But yeah, going to Gary, I want to thank him for sponsoring the year because of that. I want to thank him for that, and of course, thoughts with their family, and yeah, that's about it. Yeah, thank you guys,
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join us and talk with us.
and thank you guys.
All right. And I think Gary now has our third stand. That's, of course, machine of. Take it away, Gary.
Hey, Liam, real quick. We are kind of running tight on time, but you're going to get your time here to talk. First thing, well, I'll let you talk about your race, but obviously a call had to be made there late to let Julian by kind of in a points situation. No one likes team orders, but team orders are part of the way that we play the game. Getting that order to kind of let Julian go on by, not necessarily what you wanted, but one of these days that's probably going to be returned.
Yeah, to be fair, I hit the wall. I don't know if you call it, but I hit the wall soon after Kyle. I was just trying to get back to him. To Kyle, obviously, I was fighting for the win. I knew the podium was pretty safe. So it was either going to be first, second, or third already in the bag. So I was going for the win. I hit the wall. I bent my steering like 30 degrees to the right. So I didn't have a choice in the matter anyway. Like, Julian was going to pass me anyway. So it wasn't really... In a way, it's a case of letting him by, but it was not the intended way of letting him by. But overall, I mean, I was unfortunate to miss out on the podium last time. I was running on about 10 FPS and then crashed in the pit lane in Road Atlanta, which threw away a result. But today, I felt I had the dominant car early on, and I think Julian and Kyle, it was only until the end I realised they found something there in 3 and 4 right by the wall at the top, and I was just too happy on that bottom, hooking it in about 4th gear, whereas I think that killed me on the longer run compared to them, which is why my tyres dropped off a bit more at the end, and I just could not hold off Kyle for the win there.
Still on a partial schedule, 3rd place, a nice podium to get, not running the full season. Hopefully we will see you at Phoenix when we get there in a couple of weeks for the finale. Any shout outs, friends, family, sponsors, anyone want to say hi to before we let you go?
Shout out mum, dad, grandparents. It's been a while since I've got this in a VOR race, which is nice, and it'll be nice to get back regular in this, especially next season. Go for a championship, hopefully. Now I'm settled in at uni and everything. So it's been a while since even being interviewed or still getting used to the new tire model, even for the Indycar. Obviously the team, I mean, John 4th there as well. We had 2nd, 3rd, 4th. Like, I know it's frustrating, none of us won the race, but it's a great team result again, and the team's still strong. But yeah, again, thanks to you guys as always for covering, and hopefully we get the win in Phoenix to end out the season.
Always a good note to go out on. Congratulations on the getting back on the podium and everything else going in life. We'll catch you at the next race in a couple of weeks. We'll get the Phoenix. Liam O'Sullivan coming home 3rd today.
Guys.
Lucas, that's going to be it here for us today here at the mile. Final thoughts about kind of what we saw. It was a bit of a long race, kind of had its moments in the middle where it was kind of a bit of a snoozer, but the guys that definitely play the long game. Certainly everybody in the top 5 seemed to be playing the long game as well, and thought that I'm going to have myself a bit of a boring middle portion of the race to have myself in a position a la Rick Mears late in the race to go for a top 5, go for a podium, go for a win. And that's kind of what we saw here at the mile. And we're not done with the miles yet, because after today and reflecting on today, we got to look forward to going back to Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, the 250-mile shootout absolutely delivered. And once again, the upcoming schedule shown on screen. Make sure you guys tune in definitely tonight, 7:55 for Indianapolis. And then Sunday at 1 p.m. for CAS at Indy as well. Monday at 9 p.m. for HTRL. Tuesday at 7:30 for the Mars League at Bristol. Wednesday at 8:30 for the Premier Sim Racing League at COTA. Wednesday night as well at 9:20 for the Beer League. And then Friday, I'll be back in the booth for the ZTRL at Richmond. And that wraps up the schedule for the week. Gary, how about you wrap up this stream and I can go get some dinner.
I want the same thing as well. So that's it for today. Once again, your podium here for the 9th running of the Milwaukee Mile 250 presented by Loverns Inc. is Clindy with his 3rd career win, and now driving this series into as a points leader going into the final race. Still looking to 275 laps worth of action at Phoenix. We got Julian in 2nd with another podium. Liam O'Sullivan on a partial schedule, but another podium finish for him. And 3rd, join us again Saturday, November 22nd, when the series heads to Improper Phoenix Raceway for Championship Saturday in the 9th and final round of Season 14 campaign. Coverage will start approximately 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, that's 3:00 p.m. Eastern. Remember, as always, for the correct broadcast time in your area, you can find everything right here at YouTube at youtube.com. Just search Green Flag TV. Now, as you know, the YouTube algorithm game is not an easy one, so please help support us and the channel with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below. Let us know your thought of today's race. If you enjoyed today's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so you don't miss out on more of Green Flag's TV, other iRacing coverage that Lucas talked about. You don't want to miss it. Today's Milwaukee 250 is brought to you by Loverns Inc. Loverns provides professional services in renovation, remodeling, painting, and mold removal for government, commercial, and residential projects. For a quote or to learn more, like them on Facebook or visit their website at loversinc.com today. To learn more about Velocity Online Racing, visit velocityonlineracing.com, like them on Facebook, or follow them on X. You can also, for business inquiries with Green Flag TV, go to greenflagtv.com or click on the link in the description. So for Lucas here in the booth with me, the General Howie, who is doing the board behind the scenes, and everyone here at Green Flag TV and Velocity Online Racing, I'm Gary Gotzo saying all happy Saturday, and thanks for watching. And to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Catch us again right here November 22nd when we crown a season champion. For the next time we go to Improper Phoenix on Championship Saturday, at the next race of the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar.